Welcome back to Bears and Bulls. Today is December 30, 2009. The year is about to end. We have a very special guest, Mr. Illac Diaz. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
He's a social entrepreneur and of course, heads My Shelter Foundation. We just talked about his first few projects as a social entrepreneur, which include Pier 1 and that bamboo house and bamboo school, Earthen School, the bamboo house. I just mentioned bamboo
I thought you were
house.
gonna say like putik.
No, I'm not gonna say that. No. But now I think we're ready to talk about another topic. Just again, one of his other projects, which is very, very interesting. We were talking about it earlier. I can't believe some technology of that is existing now. But I am sure with innovation in this day and age, I'm not gonna be surprised anymore with the different things we can do with the normal things.
Right. It's actually like if MacGyver was an NGO. But yeah, there's a new branch I was talking to you. That can we give something, or we were talking about how to give back, right?
Course,
after Christmas and now that we're going to New Year.
It's not just about material gifts. It's also about. I mean, it sounds very cheesy and maybe cliche, but it's really giving a part of yourself, whether it's your time, your knowledge, your skill, or your money. But it really has to go somewhere more sustainable. So if you've been living for quite some time in your life, I don't know how old you are, but pretty much you can reflect on your life. How many years have I spent doing these things, and how much money have I spent, to certain things that probably haven't really, benefited anyone yet.
Well, I'm just saying it's benefiting.
Yeah.
The problem is for many years charities has asked only two things from us, which is give us your time or give us your money. If you're not part of the program, then maybe you should do something else.
Yeah.
But they never asked us give us your ideas.
Yeah.
And that was the most important part, because young people, they're part of the community, especially those with you're in nutrition, and so you have a certain idea of how to get nutrition from local sources.
Yeah.
So the point is, they never asked us what can be a more sustainable way of doing it. So give us your ideas. They never asked us that.
Yeah.
And so I guess that's where social enterprise comes in, which is ideas how to make things more sustainable. So not your money or time, but how can you package this in having a new idea on how to change the world.
Definitely. Or it's actually also money and time in a sense that how can you make your money and time work for work to the benefit of other people.
Or really, how can your money and time last beyond your energy and presence? And that's a significant part, which is does what you do last longer than your presence there or your involvement there? Because you
can't always be there also.
Right, you have people like like a Braveheart, challenge, but that leadership has to cascade down to them, and that the one way of doing it is to put it in a business concern, so that they can take leadership and take that business concern. And so that's why we went into what is called appropriate technologies. Appropriate technologies basically is
can you
how can
explain?
how can a technology be applied for a certain problem but can be affordable? Remember I was talking about bamboo earth, which is how can we
bamboo school
build these kind of technologies that can be sustainable by they themselves. And for example, an example of this is really we wanted for refugee areas, for large-scale areas in Mindanao that they're displaced, have little water. The second biggest problems of that is not really the shelters one, but really is sanitation. How do you wash all that clothes with little water? And where do you throw that water? And so we started investing into what is called bicycle washing machines, or with 1 drum of water. Can you recycle it? Can you make it more efficient to wash thousands and thousands of clothes?
I'm just curious, you're talking about a lot of technology parts here. Is it you who really, do you partner with other engineers or specialists on this? Or I'm sure you have your own ideas, but to really make that whole, bicycle washing machine.
I studied in MIT, so there is 2 philosophies in that school. One is high-tech, expensive design, expensive material. And there's the other one, which is the responsibility of using technology for a developing world for problems that has to do with serious crisis.
Specifically for the Philippines.
Well, Philippines is representative of many of these challenges in the developing world. But there are these kind of brain trusts.
Yeah.
So I work with people of that. It's called Development Laboratory, and it's Amy Smith. And they have ideas competitions where they challenge people with new ideas for facing particular problems, and they give grants. So we won a couple of those, but at the same time we're still working with the brain trust, those people with that similar line, which is there are challenges in the world, but it cannot be neglected, or else it will become chronic.
Okay.
So chronic. So we need to also have designs and engineering. Simply, it's like this. If 90% of us focuses on the 10% richest of society, which is what we do, better apartments, then what happens to the other 90%? That means they're left behind. So what's happening is there must be a certain principle, you're right, that sometimes that 90% should focus on the 90% poor, the most brilliant of society. Must be able to use some of their time, not as handouts, but use a knowledge transfer to do that. And so the same thing with MIT is a lot of these engineers, mechanical engineers, designers, architects, everybody down the line, business, Harvard and Sloan, should sometimes focus some of it to the people that will never be able to afford them. And this principle works. And so that's why this kind of associations, like web associations, where we throw problems and we deal with it, in cyberspace. But the point is, the thing with MIT that's different from Harvard is you write a 5-page paper, and different from MIT, which is you have to prove your thesis.
Yeah, it's not just writing it on paper.
And so the bicycle washing machine came out of this, which is the problem of women having to wash clothes. They get the first income they have is washing clothes. Next is they wash clothes in the river, which they start polluting cumulatively downstream. So how can we use little water and then use human energy? So you bike. I think I have some pictures here where...
Actually, I encountered one before. When you bike and you can, like leaves, you can start shredding it. So
right.
Like
human energy. So
something like that.
this is our dryer. So you after you wash, you put it inside, and then you bike. But the point there is the water is contained inside, and then we have another bucket that is full of sand, so we throw the soap water there, and then we recycle it about 10 times. So you can have like a lot of people using it. This is a belt-powered one, so you can see that the drum rolls inside. There's holes so that only the clothes are inside. The rest of the water stays under.
How long did it take you to build this bike?
Well, this takes like a few days. It's Radu Radata was one of my classmates. And he really wanted to, this is our quality test, which the long-term La Bandera is checking. But it's really to show that we can give this kind of knowledge and this kind of self-build kind of systems to the poorest of the poor.
Something and they wouldn't have been able to do if they weren't approached or
right. But it solves a big problem. They earn more money. And it's just the point that you're able to leave something well beyond your presence in that community.
I mean, even if you're not there right now as of the moment, you left something that they could use.
Right, and for the next 5 to 10 years, or maybe repair it with locally available materials. I mean, these things are important. Now, where's the cash flow? The cash flow is if they make more money. So you give these bicycle washing machines to them.
And then
they start earning money. They're able to profit because they have more washes. They can wash more per day. They can dry it. Then they can earn more money and, of course, spend less time washing in the first place for the same amount of money. So, different principles. But the amazing thing was with Ondoy happening, we had tons and tons of silted clothes that had silt in them. So what was a concept for refugee scenarios was now applicable in the city itself. So we started
because of what happened.
right. So
in
we
the
started
typhoon.
deploying this to be able to wash in Ondoy affected areas, especially the Marikina area. So they were able to wash. We had a lot of feedback, so we were designing a couple of things. But